Holbein stitch, which is a double running stitch, also known as blackwork, is named Holbein stitch after Hans Holbein the Younger. Hans Holbein the Younger was an artist in the early 16th century. He became a court painter for King Henry VIII of England, and he was there in the 1520s for a couple of years in England, and then he left, and then he came back, and then from about the mid 1530s on until his death in 1543, he painted portraits in England. And it became this double running stitch, which beforehand had been known as Spanish work, and that was after Catherine of Aragon, who was the first wife of Henry VIII. I do believe that blackwork embroidery existed before Catherine in England, because we know from Geoffrey Chaucer in his tale of the miller's wife, I believe her name was Alice, but Chaucer talks of black embroidery of both alike within and without on a white background, and that sounds exactly like the double running stitch, which is a reversible geometric embroidery that is iconic of early blackwork. And so if Geoffrey Chaucer was discussing that or describing it in his time, then Catherine of Aragon didn't introduce it, but she made it popular. She married Henry VIII in 1509. They immediately, once Henry VII passed away, they immediately got married, and then they had a joint coronation. And so once she made blackwork embroidery popular, it became known as Spanish work. However, then fast forward to the 1530s, where Henry VIII was looking to divorce Catherine so he could marry his second wife, Anne Boleyn. Spanish work became no longer known as Spanish work, but then became known as blackwork. And then fast forwards to some more time, and this Spanish work that became blackwork also then became known as Holbein stitch, and that's because other artists during this time period in Europe, some may have painted one portrait with blackwork, some might have painted 2 or 3 portraits with blackwork. Hans Holbein the Younger painted a minimum of 30 different portraits. Some of the portraits, we don't have the actual painting still, but we do still have his drawings. So we know of at least 30 different portraits that he drew or he painted that have blackwork embroidery in them. And some of these portraits are so detailed that we can zoom in, for example, on some of his miniatures that are only 5 centimeters in diameter. You can still look at the detail work, see what the pattern is on the collar, and then be able to recreate those patterns and be able to do that exact pattern today if you wanted to do blackwork embroidery. Sadly, some of Hans Holbein the Younger's portraits have been lost to time, mostly due to fires. Well, because we're talking the early 16th century. He was a court painter for Henry VIII from about the mid-1530s until Holbein died in 1543. But we still have the drawings as well as some of his other portraits that have been painted, and I think one of the most famous, popular, however you want to describe it, portraits that he did with blackwork embroidery in it is of King Henry VIII's third wife, Jane Seymour. And if you zoom in, like look in at the portrait, you can see her cuffs, and you can just from the naked eye, without even zooming in, you can see the detail work and be able to recreate that pattern. If you would like more information on how to do blackwork embroidery step by step, or if you want to know more about the history of blackwork embroidery, I will have links below in the description. Also, here is an event plug for the Royal University of the Mid-Realm, also known as RUM, where I will be teaching a class taking a critical look at the different portraits of Hans Holbein the Younger and looking at the blackwork embroidery and trying to recreate those patterns. So if you're interested in blackwork and you happen to be able to go to RUM, come check out my class. Thank you for checking out my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video and would like to watch more of my videos, please follow the links on the side of the page. Please select thumbs up that you like the video. It helps with the algorithm. If you have questions or comments, please post them below, and please click subscribe and ring that bell to be updated when new videos come out.